Now, depending on what programming language you're going to use and what editor you plan to use, you may or may not go through this step, but I wanted to kind of give a very quick overview of installing Eclipse, specifically for working with Java applications. Eclipse actually has the capability of working with a number of different programming languages, so you can do C and C++, Java, Python, a ton of different languages in it. I personally prefer the VI editor for doing a lot of the stuff. I'm not going to get in. I think you can actually set Eclipse up to actually use the VI editor in the editing console, so that would actually make it even better. But I wanted to kind of go through just a very quick overview of what we're doing here. So the first thing is I am using Ubuntu Linux. So if we actually go into the applications, and I'm using Unity, which, yes, it has some things I don't like about it, but we'll deal with it. We'll go into the Ubuntu Software Center, and then from here we can just search for Eclipse, and then click on the icon with the little world here and do an install. Once you install it, you can start running the application. Unity has some issues with the Alt-Tab on Eclipse. I don't quite know why, but when I try to tab to the application, it doesn't show up in the list, but it'll install and get you going. Now, the first thing that I want to point out here is if we go to Window Preferences and we scroll down here to Java and then Code Style and then Formatter, that's going to give us a list, and by default it'll come up and tell you Eclipse built in. The first thing I did here, I don't like the default formatting that the Eclipse uses, so I wanted to set up my own style, and I'll show how I've got this stuff set up. But the first thing that you're going to do is actually hit the new button here, and that'll open up a screen that looks a lot like this. It'll ask you for the profile name, and it'll actually ask you, in fact, I'll show you here. When you hit new, it'll ask you if you want to set it based on the Eclipse built-in thing, and I did that so that I already had all my defaults in there that Eclipse uses, and then I just went in and changed it. So once you get that up, the first thing I did is on the indentation. I only use 3 tabs instead of 4. And then these are all of the boxes and stuff that I've got checked. On my braces, I went in and changed all of these to next line, and then all of these guys to next indented. It's just the way that I like to look at the code. You can set this up any way you want to. And then we've got our white space and stuff I left alone. The only other thing I did is over here on line wrapping. I set this to 150 and left everything else there. And then on control statements, I set all of these guys to being checked because I don't like all of the way that it sets all that stuff by default. Now, once you get that set up, the only other thing that I'm just going to mention here, and it's not, this is more for Android, but if you're wanting to do Android programming, what you want to do is actually, while you've got this up, is go over here to Help and Install New Software, and you're going to select the Add button here. We're going to type in the name of whatever it is that you want to call it, and you're going to put this into the path, and you'll just have to write this down. I've already imported it, so I'm not going to do it again. But https://dl-ssl.google.com/android/eclipse. What that'll do is it'll actually go out and download all of your SDK for Android programming so that you can start developing Android applications on here as well. Now, Eclipse runs on all the different platforms, so you can run it on Windows, Linux, or Mac. So everything that I've showed you here works on all 3 of the different different operating systems. So in the next video, I will start getting into actually writing a simple Java app and a little bit more information in the classes and stuff. But before I started doing that, you need to get in and get the Eclipse set up.